There is a particular kind of YouTube video that has been circulating about Meghan Markle for the past 2 years. You may have seen them. The titles are specific, the thumbnails are dramatic, and they all promise the same thing, that someone, somewhere, has finally found the one piece of evidence that proves Meghan has been lying about her age for decades. And the name attached to the most recent wave of these videos is Candace Owens. Now, if you have spent any time in the royal commentary space, you know that title. Candace Owens, American commentator, founder of the Daily Wire's most watched podcast, a woman with a very large and very loyal audience who has made pointed public statements about Meghan Markle on multiple occasions. The titles of recent videos reference Owens exposing Meghan's real birth year, Owens revealing the evidence that could change everything, Owens dropping a bombshell that Meghan is scrambling to deny. But before we go any further, there is a question worth asking. A quiet, precise question that I want to plant at the beginning of this conversation and answer properly before we are done. If Candace Owens has genuinely discovered evidence that Meghan Markle has been lying about her age for decades, where is it? Where is the document? Where is the interview? And why hasn't a single credible news outlet published it? If you value this kind of careful, honest conversation about the royal family, one that treats you as the intelligent person you are, I hope you will subscribe. There is always more to discuss and always a reason to discuss it honestly. To understand the story properly, we need to start with what is actually known and verifiable about Meghan Markle's birth date, because this is not a mystery. It has never been a mystery, and the attempt to make it one tells you something important about how certain corners of the internet operate. Rachel Meghan Markle was born on the 4th of August, 1981, at West Park Hospital in Canoga Park, Los Angeles, California. The time of her birth is recorded as 4:46 in the morning. This information appears in the California Birth Index, a publicly available official record. It appears in official documentation lodged at Companies House in the United Kingdom from the period when the Sussexes maintained a UK public company. It appears in Andrew Morton's authorized biography of Meghan, cross-referenced against the birth certificate directly. It appears in every court filing connected to every legal proceeding involving Meghan Markle. It appears on her marriage certificate. Her wedding to Prince Harry on the 19th of May, 2018, is a matter of state public record in the United Kingdom. This is not soft information. This is not a self-reported detail that a clever person could theoretically have invented. The California Birth Index is a government-compiled database of recorded births in the state of California from 1905 to 1995. It is a primary source. It cannot be rewritten after the fact by an individual hoping to appear younger. And yet, the videos accumulate. Tens of thousands of views, hundreds of thousands of comments. Candace Owens exposes Meghan's real birth year. Meghan exposes the age secret she has been hiding for decades. So where did the doubt come from in the first place? Because there is always a fragment of something real at the center of these stories, a loose thread, and if you pull it, you find not the cover-up that was promised, but something rather more mundane and rather more human. The fragment in this case comes from two places. The first is Samantha Markle, Meghan's estranged half-sister, a woman who has carried a very public and very bitter grievance against Meghan for years. Samantha has made numerous public claims about Meghan's character, her childhood, her relationship with their father, and her public image. In various comments and appearances over the years, Samantha suggested that Meghan may be older than officially stated, that her true birth year might be 1977 or 1978 rather than 1981. This claim circulated in certain YouTube spaces and was amplified repeatedly. But here is what Newsweek found when they investigated this claim properly in a detailed fact check published in 2023. Samantha Markle's own book, The Diary of Princess Pushy's Sister, gives Meghan's date of birth as August 1981, not 1977, not 1978, August 1981.
Furthermore, Samantha's own libel complaint against Meghan, filed in a United States court, a legal document that would carry serious consequences if it contained false statements, references a 17-year gap between the two women. Samantha's own publicly stated date of birth is November 1964. A 17-year gap from 1964 places Meghan's birth firmly in 1981.
In other words, Samantha Markle's own court filing and her own published book both confirm the very birth year she was allegedly exposing as false. The second fragment is the age difference between Meghan and Prince Harry. Harry was born on the 15th of September 1984. Meghan was born in August 1981. That makes Meghan approximately 3 years and 1 month older than Harry. She is also 1 year older than Prince William and the Princess of Wales, both of whom were born in 1982. For some commentators, this age difference became significant. The suggestion floated was that Meghan might have minimized her age in order to appear closer in years to Harry, to seem like a more natural match for a younger prince. It is the kind of suggestion that sounds just plausible enough to be interesting, just specific enough to feel like a real allegation rather than idle speculation. But the California Birth Index does not contain information that individuals can amend to suit their romantic circumstances. A birth certificate is not a dating profile. And the suggestion that someone in 1981 filed a false birth record in a California government database in order to be more appealing to a British prince who was not born until 1984 is, when you say it plainly, not a serious proposition. Now, let us talk about Candace Owens, because she is the name attached to the most recent and most widely shared iteration of this story, and she deserves to be discussed honestly rather than either dismissed or uncritically elevated. Candace Owens is a significant commentator. Her podcast at the Daily Wire consistently drew millions of listeners before her departure from that platform in March 2024. She is currently operating independently with her own subscription-based show. She is sharp, she is articulate, and she is genuinely skilled at constructing a compelling argument. And she has been consistently and pointedly critical of Meghan Markle for several years. Her commentary on Meghan has touched on race, identity, the Oprah interview, the Sussex brand, and what Owens describes as inconsistencies in Meghan's public persona. Some of what she has said on those topics is genuinely arguable. Some of it reflects real tensions and real contested ground. She is not a commentator without any substance at all. But here's the specific problem with the age claim. Newsweek, conducting a systematic fact-check of the viral YouTube ecosystem around Meghan's age, could not find a single verified Candace Owens broadcast in which she presented original evidence that Meghan had falsified her birth date. What the fact-checkers found was a pattern in which Owens had made pointed and skeptical comments about various aspects of Meghan's public narrative, comments that were then taken by other YouTube creators, stripped of their context, and assembled into videos promising that Owens had definitively exposed a decades-long age deception. In other words, videos titled "Candace Owens Exposes Meghan's Real Birth Year" were, in at least several documented cases, not videos of Candace Owens exposing anything specific. They were videos that used her name and her reputation for pointed Meghan commentary to attract viewers who expected a revelation and then delivered something rather vaguer than what the title promised. This is a pattern that anyone who has spent time in the royal YouTube space will recognize. A well-known name, a dramatic title, an enormous view count, and somewhere between the thumbnail and the end of the video, the revelation fails to materialize. There is a term in media studies for this. It is called headline fraud. The content does not deliver what the packaging promises, but by the time the viewer realizes that, the watch time has already been counted, the revenue has already been generated. And I want to be clear that I am not saying Candace Owens has done nothing wrong here specifically, because the problem is not primarily her.
She is a commentator who has made pointed remarks, and other people have built a false product around the reputation those remarks created. That is a slightly different thing, and it is worth distinguishing. The problem is the ecosystem, the financial incentive that rewards the most dramatic title, regardless of whether the content inside it justifies that drama. The algorithm that presents these videos to exactly the audience most likely to believe them, not because the algorithm knows the content is false, but because it knows the audience finds this kind of content emotionally engaging. And underneath all of this, there is a question that is genuinely worth sitting with. Why is Meghan Markle's age such a compelling target for these stories? It is not, when you examine it, obviously significant. An age difference of 3 years between a husband and wife is unremarkable. Being 43 rather than 44, or 47 rather than 43, in the more extreme versions of the theory, does not change anything material about who Meghan is, what she has said, what she has done, or what her relationship with the royal family has been. But age carries a particular charge for women in public life. The suggestion that a woman has hidden her age is always partially about something older and more uncomfortable than a birth certificate. It touches on questions of desirability, of deception, of whether the woman who appears to have it all has quietly cheated at something. It invites a kind of moral audit that feels more personal and more socially loaded than most factual questions. And in Meghan's specific case, it connects to a broader narrative that has followed her since she entered public life, the narrative of the woman who manufactured herself, who reinvented her history, who presented one version of her story to the world while hiding another. Whether that broader narrative is fair is a legitimate debate. There are real contradictions in Meghan's public statements that serious commentators have documented and discussed. But the age claim is not one of them. The California Birth Index records a birth on the 4th of August, 1981. Andrew Morton's biography, compiled with access to the birth certificate, records the same date. Companies House in the United Kingdom records the same date. Samantha Markle's own court filings and published book are consistent with the same date. Every piece of official documentation that exists on this question points in the same direction. Candace Owens has not produced evidence to the contrary. The YouTube videos promising she has are, when examined carefully, built on her reputation rather than her actual claims. And that, in the end, is the age secret Meghan Markle has been hiding for decades. There is no secret. There is a birth certificate. There is a government database, there are court documents, and there is an internet ecosystem with a powerful financial incentive to convince you that these things are all part of an elaborate deception, because the deception is more interesting, more shareable, and more profitable than the truth. The question worth carrying away from this conversation is a simple one. The next time a video promises to expose something that every official record already contradicts, what is the one question we should ask before we watch it? I would love to hear your answer in the comments below.